trying to meet you. Hey.
This is STU Street, episode 22. I am your host, Sam Morra, and today I'm sitting down with Eguiguren. Eguiguren is currently an MBA student at Boston University, building upon the skills he's developed over the course of his young professional career. Despite being only 7 years removed from his undergraduate studies, Eguiguren has significant experience in the business world, including almost 5 years as CFO at Comercial Hidromobile. They are a commercial lift company based in Chile, where Eguiguren grew up. On top of his work in the professional space, Eguiguren has cultivated a broad array of life experiences that have brought him to where he is today. Eguiguren, thank you for being on the podcast.
Hi, Sam, and thank you for the introduction.
So you graduated from the University of Desarrollo in 2015, and within just a few years held massive responsibility as a CFO of a company and head of a new business unit that would end up doing over $1 million in sales. Was this a daunting experience for you, or did you feel confident in your abilities to make an impact?
Actually, when I wrote the first time this paper, the preparation of the podcast, I was really impressed because you never see too well your story until you go over it. So the history there, how I managed to get nominated as a CFO of the company is really nice. Back then, I was working as a project manager in the company, trying to develop this new business unit, and was about bringing a whole new brand of lift, but that they go inside of the buildings, because the other business unit is the one that we provide elevators from the outside in order to make easy the construction of the buildings. So to do that, we travel to Germany, to a fair, to find this new supplier. And when we came back, we succeeded. We met someone that matched really well with the things that we need, the way of thinking, and a lot of qualities that were really important for us. But the thing is that when we get back from the trip, the actual CFO was heading for his honeymoon. He has just got married and he was getting for the honeymoon. And so they asked me, we don't know why, but they asked me if I can take charge of the cash flow and the DPAs of the bank because of trust. I don't know. They asked me. So I go to the CFO and I say, okay, what do I have to do? Let me know the main things that I have to take care of, and that's it. And we start this journey that endure like 1 month, probably a little more, maybe. And with the pass of time, I start asking for some things like to the treasure person or the accounting guy, and I start seeing that there were a lot of things missing. There were a lot of disorder in the area. So I starting to worry about it. I started digging more into it because it was my personality to go a little deep in it. And we didn't found nothing like was wrong or unethical, not at all, but it was really a mess. So I go to my boss, that was the CEO of the company, and I tell this, and we start making a conversation, and we say, okay, if we want to change this company, because the CEO was also new in the company. We both were there like for no more than maybe 9 months, something like that. So we say if we want to make that a huge company change, we have to start by the persons that show the example. And he say, okay, I'm gonna take him out. Okay, I say. During a different conversation with another person that has helped me a lot in my life, he told me, okay, take the risk, go to your boss and tell him that you want to take charge of the responsibility. And without too much experience, as you can see, he said yes, and I took the challenge. And that's how I got the position.
What did it mean to you for him to kind of put that level of trust within you?
At the beginning, I was like so nervous, but I don't know. I really trust my boss. I think it's really important for me. A main thing in life is to trust each other, make teams. So when I went to talk to him, I said, I have no problem doing this. I'm not afraid of it. Only if you help me and you're able to talk with me, teach me, and do whatever it takes. If I have to spend more extra hours, there's no problem with me. I'll do it for sure. Happy to do it. So, and he said, yes, okay, let's do it. And that's how we start like a really important change in the company.
It seems like one of the main factors was you weren't afraid to state where your vulnerabilities were, in the sense that you did need help and guidance. A lot of people that would be put into that position would be afraid to look like they were underqualified. What allowed you to kind of state that you needed help in that situation?
It's the fact that I didn't have experience about it, and I knew that back in the undergrad I had some struggles with accounting at the beginning. So that was one fact, and the other fact is that my policy of believing is, my statement is to always be honest with the other person, and you will get much more out of the conversation, situation, whatever you're doing. So I say, okay, life is about risk. You have to go for it if you want to go big or go home. But these are the conditions. If you are able to help me, okay, let's do it. And we do it.
Despite this being a new role for you, your time as CFO resulted in a 350% year-over-year revenue growth in 2021, and your company becoming the #1 client in Latin America for one of the 7 major elevator companies in the world. What were some of the key factors that played into this, and what do you believe allowed you to facilitate that process?
It's a little like I told you a few moments ago, trust in your team, because it wasn't just me and my boss. It was a whole team backing up this whole operation. So when we talk with the CEO, we say, okay, well, let's go for a major change, a cultural change. I think that was the key success factor. Out of that, we went to this fair and talked with someone that was in the same tune that us, in the same way of thinking. So that match allow us to be really flexible in by the time that we need to make the first deals. Okay, because this was that big number comes out of this new business development unit. So what we did was bring this whole new brand, but it wasn't easy at all, because when you go up in a lift, you're putting your life at risk, right? I know plenty of stories that the lifts go down because earthquake or I don't know, mechanical problems or whatever. So to put the first one was really difficult. We have experience in the construction elevator, but this was like a whole new level of precision, technology, electrician devices, and whatever. So,
and this is all part of the new branch?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the trust that we bring to our new customers, our new clients, were the key factor, because that opened us a door that allow us today be one of the main clients and a really important brand back in Chile. So with no history at all, because our main competitors were Otis, Schindler, those that are huge brand. So I would say trust, a change of culture in the team, how you transmit everything from the person that is selling the product, from the person that is asking for the product to Greece or China, wherever it comes, and to take risk, go further, and I don't know, take a big jump. I think that those are key, and I was reserving this word for the last part of the conversation, but be methodic and disciplined is something that you need to do every day, from the time that you wake up until you go to sleep. I have an uncle that always say to me, "You don't forget to wash your teeth, right?" So that's part of the discipline also. So why should you be different in other parts of your life?
How have you kind of made that habitual process for yourself in terms of your day-to-day work schedule, or even here at school?
Um, First of all, I have a role model that is amazing. Is my dad. He always wake up at, I don't know, 5 a.m. and he start the day doing sports. Always do sport because that makes you be more active, more with more energy. So I don't know, when I passed that stage of life where parties were the main topic, I started doing that with my dad. It give us moment to talk about our lives, what we want to do. It gives you a space to prove yourself, set better goals and whatever. But that was the kickstart of this discipline. Then I was always early wherever I want. I want. Sorry. Even now, if I have classes at 8, I'm in the university at 7, doing whatever I want. Just reading the newspaper, preparing something for the next day or whatever. But always be like really disciplined. No, I don't have space for be like lazy or something, because it's really easy to go in that path and get used to it. And I don't know. Now I have a daughter, so that discipline has helped me a lot because of the sleep. But I think that is one of the biggest assets that my father has gave me. So yeah.
When you try to revamp the culture of your company, is this one of the traits you looked for in new employees, or even trying to change ones that were already within the firm?
I would say definitely. It's really important to have this culture, to improve it, work every day in it. Yeah, and actually, when we decided to came to the MBA, the culture that we were going to learn here, not just in the MBA, also in the daily day livings, or in the internship, or if I have the chance to work here, is one of the things that we want to learn in order to be able to bring it back to Chile. US is so far in the front than Chile, so we have a lot of things to learn, and even better, I think that because this is not new, we have to think about it. The England culture that you have here is the thing that makes a difference. I don't know if you have noticed, but I think that the different culture between England and the Spanish is that what makes the difference from the developed countries than the ones that are in that path, but they haven't done yet.
So when it comes to getting an MBA degree, there's often this traditional path that's talked about where you get your undergraduate degree, then you work for, 5 to 7 years, then you go back and apply your work world to your next level education at the MBA level. However, there's definitely nuances to this process, and each MBA candidate has a different life story as well as workflow prior to their MBA education. So, for example, you were doing very well as a CFO, bolstering this new branch of your company and fostering all these skill sets that you were developing over the course of 5 years. So what is it that made you feel like it was time to go back and get that MBA degree, and what did that decision-making process look like?
So I will say that there are two factors. First, there's a timeline, right? So I think I was getting to the last chance to travel and do an MBA, because then families start growing and you're not able to pay it, or it doesn't. It's better to stay than come here. So that's the basic one. So, and the other one is that I'm not sure what the future is wants out of me, but I know that I want to go big. And I said, okay, if you want to do it, you have to do different things. You can't stay being. I know that I was in my comfort zone, being a CFO, growing the company and whatever, but you have to make changes, and there is two reasons that why you. There is more, but two main reasons because you make an MBA. For me, was the first is to learn with the experience is a completely different way of seeing things. It's a completely new learn. So I know this because I have talked a lot with my brother that he also do an MBA, but he didn't have too much experience because he went out of the university. He created a small architecture office, and then I don't know, maybe after 1 year he went to do it, but he didn't have the experience. So what I did was learn, see, get my hands in the mud and get this knowledge. And now when I'm sitting in class and you see these professors talking about this great exercise or cases that we have seen, and you can understand at a much better level what they are talking about, I think it's great. And you can take much more out of it, of the conversation. So I think that was a tool that I need in order to do something different, to do something greater than the usual path, the conventional path. So that's why I decided to come. And it was a conversation that I did have with my wife a lot of times. She's also doing an MPA, a Master in Global Policy. So we are making this together. Like I said, team is key to succeed. She pushed me to another limit, and I hope I'm doing the same with her. So I think that's what drove us here, where we are now.
And so making that jump together, coming from a different country and where your whole life has been anchored in one place, you're not only making a jump from your work position to education, but you're also making a geographic jump where you're traveling away from where your entire life has been anchored. Did that weigh into your decision-making process, and how has that been going?
Absolutely. I think it's one of the major reasons that we jump in this project. Like I said, we were really located in our comfort zone. We have our own apartment, luckily, with all our furnitures, I don't know, comfortable things. You know where to go, you know that you are going to have your bed in a perfect shape and whatever. And go out to something unknown is what moves you in life. I don't know, it's what gives you energy. So we said, okay, let's do this. And we knew all the time that we here we're going trying to live in a more I forgot how to say it, but with less money, less things to help us. Like, for example, a key factor when you have a kid in this situation is to be able to reach your family in order to have help on it. Mm-hmm. I noticed that it's not too similar in the American culture, but for us it's really important. You have to do something, like you want to do whatever. If you want to go to play tennis, you need someone to take care out your door. So we knew that this was going to happen here, and that was going to push us to our limits. And that's the funny thing out of this project. Hey, how can we take the best out of us, of this whole new experience? Talking to new people with a whole new level of different ideas. Even the language is one of the biggest challenges that I have to face. At the beginning, I think I don't have too much trouble speaking English, but the first days of classes, I did struggle because you are not used to it. You have to listen in English and to keep the pace with the professor and the ideas. Mm-hmm. You have also to take note in English, and I think that was the most difficult part for me. And that was so stressful, and get back home, take care of my daughter, and I didn't rest. It was really difficult to rest in that time. But now, again, we got the method, discipline, and I think we are on track, enjoying this experience pretty much. So
it seems like that whole change has really been an energizer for you. And even since talking with you 2 months ago, it seems like you're already in a way better place in your transition back to the academic space. Outside of the contextual factors, what has it been like to switch from a corporation environment to an academic space where you're surrounded by students rather than coworkers?
It's really nice. We have talked a lot of this with my friends and classmates. There are two main factors. The first one is that even though you have a huge responsibility in order to learn and take the most out of it, you don't have the responsibility to manage, I don't know, 150 people or whatever, manage a team, I don't know. So first of all, don't have that kind of responsibility. It's like, I wouldn't say like you are being on vacations, but it's a stage of life where you can take more out of other things. For example, making trips or enjoying more a conversation, not always being working for numbers and results and income. You are actually working for yourself. The best income that you can take here from another conversation is growth for yourself. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the great things that you can take out of it.
So it seems like that's the major difference between what you learned as an executive and what you've learned here at BU. What's the difference between what you learned in your undergraduate years versus what you've learned now?
I will say that gap is huge. Is huge because for me the undergrad was a great experience. To be honest, I was really immature. You just go to the undergrad, learn, try to get the best grade that you can, and that's it. Now is the real world. You have to, like I said, take the most out of everything. The conversations when you're walking back home and I don't know, you're thinking what you are seeing. Everything is learning. So I think now it's not a game. Now you're working for yourself. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish in life? So I would say the perspective, the way you attack all the things in the days, that's the main difference between the undergrad and the grad. And I think it's a process. It's impossible to ask to an undergrad to do what you're doing now, because I have lived a lot of things that have drawn me here. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't know. I think that's the main difference, I would say.
And you talk about how it's all kind of serving this process of what you want to do afterwards, and you talked a little bit about bringing this knowledge back to Chile. So it seems like everything you're learning now is kind of in service of that bigger goal. We talked a little bit about in the past off camera about some of the things you're working on, including a new company which utilizes excess materials from construction jobs. Obviously, you've had success in your executive role before, but does this mean that you're looking to take that kind of next career step into entrepreneurship? And if so, can you kind of describe what that might look like?
So I think that I'm always thinking in the future, and like I said, I have lived for myself, like in this case 34 years for me, and now have to start living for the legacy that I want to build for my, I don't know, I hope to have a family with more kids and whatever, so I must work for them. That's my bigger goal, and what I see every day is that the world is changing, and it's changing really fast. For example, now everybody's talking about ChatGPT. So when you ask me if I want to be an entrepreneur and how can I do that in my career, or can I put it, I would say that it's not about just one project or one startup. It's about everything that you do. You have to treat it like always be seeking new opportunities, trying to develop better things, and the way to approach that is what makes the difference. So I think that, yeah, I want to go in that path. I want to make it viable every day in my life. I want to work in the startup that I told you. Yeah, it's like you said, it's taking taking charge of the raw material that are left over in the building sites, and but it's more than that. It's taking care about of the community where you work. It's trying to give it back something to the world. It's trying to learn out of the process, of course, because I never started a company before, and I have learned a lot of things, new things out of this. But I'm not sure if that's gonna be my main path, that particular, or like I said, trying to apply this to everything that I do, everything, and treat it like that ways.
One of the things I've noticed about you, which I think would make a really good entrepreneur, is the fact that you have the confidence within yourself, but you still understand the risk factors and like context behind each situation. A lot of times, startup CEOs and entrepreneurs have an overconfidence that can be a blinding factor and prevent them from achieving. What allows you to kind of find that balance?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I don't know. I would say that is what I have seen, what I have learned, that I'm trying to apply, because to be honest, my energy and my way of living changes from time to time, and I would say that in this particular moment of my life, I can be more, I don't know, try to take more risk. But then if I see that the things that are around us that are not fitting too well, you can go back. I would say that is always be able to listen, learn, and talk to the other people. I would say that are mainly the talk with other people. For example, if I don't know something, and you say it to me, you have the expertise in the subject, and you say, okay, but be easy because construction is not going too well or whatever. I will, okay, let's go a little bars behind. So I will say that.
So it's that kind of knowledge that there is another avenue if needed.
Exactly, something like that.
Overall, all these experiences, it seems like, are setting you up well for what's to come in your next chapter. But there's a lot we also haven't talked about outside of just the business world. And one thing that I've always thought was one of the most interesting things about you was the fact that you've actually sailed across the Atlantic Ocean with a group of friends, not on a cruise boat, but actually on your guys' own boat together. What was that experience like? Can you detail that a little bit for the audience?
I think that I always talked with my dad about this. Is one of the things that marked my life for sure, and there is also a history there. This started with the son of my best friend, of the best friend of my father, that has the same age than me, and we are like in not similar path, but very close. So I don't know, maybe like I would say like 10 years ago, we say, okay, we had to do something crazy. We have to do something that not too much persons do. And I don't know. We say, okay, let's do it. But then the world has prepared something different for me. And I start working and I say, okay, I can do it now. It's not the time. I don't want to do it. And the idea gets out, go away. But a couple of years later, I was actually in a storage, in the storage of one of the companies that I work in. And this crazy idea came to my head, and I called this guy, my friend. This was crazy, really crazy, and this really happened. But he told me, I know why you are calling me. Let's do it. And that's how everything started. And I say, okay, let's do it. But like I said before, let's do it in a bigger way. The main idea was to go around the world in a sailboat. That was the main idea of the project. And so we started working for that. We bought a sailboat in Italy with the help of our parents and the resources that we already have it in our pockets because of a couple of years working. And we started this new journey that was supposed to teach us about life, and certainly did. So I would say that my main goal in that experience was, I always have lived by the philosophy that you only see the best of a person if you take it to the limit. And my biggest needs and wants were to find that limit. And I thought, okay, I need something crazy, and actually I did. When I was sailing from the Canary Island to Cape Verde, we experienced really crazy moments. Waves of more than 8 meters, 10 meters. We did have a fire inside of the boat because of the salt water and the electric system. A sail got scratched in the middle of the night, and I have to go over the mast with these huge waves. And the mast is more than, I don't know, was like 20 meters, I think. So when you are back in the boat, it's danger. But when you are in the top of the mast, the movement is much bigger. So that's when you see your life go through your eyes, and you say, okay, this is what I wanted, what I'm gonna learn. And the communication, I would say the communication is the best income that I got from that trip. Talking to people, because we spent more than 18 days without seeing land in a really small place. So be able to communicate in a proper way, it's the best thing that you can live. Do things and doing team, helping each other, because someone has to be awake all the time. So we have to make shifts, I don't know, clean different things, help in every way that we can. So I think that experience definitely took the best out of me, and I will say that it's one of the biggest moments that I have ever experienced.
What was the learning curve like, and did you guys do any preparation?
We knew the basics at the beginning. We did have some troubles in our borders. Actually, the best one that I did was to travel from Mexico to Tampa. We took a sailboat, but there was just only 4 days of sailing. We knew the basic things again, but it was impressive because after the first week of sailing, we were just the two of us sailing from Italy to Greece. And when we were doing that, we take this huge sail that you have in the boat, the ones that you can see in the picture with a lot of colors. That is the only one that can really cost you trouble in a normal way. So, but we did that by night, and we went to sleep. And that was like the most irresponsible things that we can do. If I talk to another sailor and I tell this story, he will say, "Why did you do that? Were you crazy?" Because if a storm comes out, can sink you in a couple of minutes. So even that we have experience, you always have something new to learn, and you do stupid things every time. So the curve was, at the beginning, we were more like kids playing around, but then when we saw like the days for the preparation coming out, we start like taking it more serious, and trying to because we crossed the Atlantic with 4 more people, so 3 more people, sorry, and 3 more persons, and we were responsible of those lives. We can't be playing around with that. So it wasn't too much space to don't know how to do things, or we must be prepared for that. So I would say that was the biggest point in the middle of the trip, where we acquired the most amount of knowledge.
And overall, that's a different teamwork environment. You've worked in the corporate world, you're in an MBA program now, but this is high stakes, and there's a lot more on the line than just margins, a lot more on the line than just grades. As you said, there's lives and there's people you're responsible for in terms of their lives and family. So how would you handle that kind of pressure while also enjoying the moment and experience that you had?
I would say again, trust in your team is the biggest asset that you can have. Choose correctly the persons with you are gonna get involved. Actually, one of the main things that we planned to get out of that trip was to meet new people in each port, in each city with different point of view and whatever. So I would say, in order to succeed in the team working, is communication, how to you can see through the other persons and take the best out of them, and again, communication. I really trust in my friend. I will bet everything on it. I don't have. I wouldn't even hesitate for it. So, and I think that is he will do the same for me. So, I would say in the real world, like in the companies or in the MBA, is trying to find the same. Trying to surround yourself with people that can take the best out of you and can take you to these safe limits, but where you can develop yourself and prepare for the future, because this game is just starting.
For students looking to take that first step and develop those skills in terms of discipline, in terms of trust, and surrounding themselves with the right people, what is that first step they can take if they're kind of lacking guidance?
I would say that is definitely start engaging with people that is in the same symphony that you, that is in the same music. I will say. So when you are, for example, what you do, when you try to engage with people that can help you, that can make you grow, I will say definitely that's the first step, because you really don't know what you want until I don't know. I think that now I know what I want, but I'm not sure. So I still have a lot to learn. Mm-hmm. I'm in a process, so you will always be growing. So, but like I said, I will say that the biggest task is to meet and surround yourself by good people that can take the best out of you. So.
And in terms of the point in the journey you're at currently, what would be your pitch to people that are maybe thinking about getting their MBA degree or are unsure about committing themselves to those 2 years outside of their work? What would be your pitch to say, yes, you should do this?
For sure, you must do it, because first of all, it takes you out of your comfort zone. Second of all, it's give you a whole new perspective of the way you see life. You can make a pivot in your career. You can learn different stuff. It's a safe environment where you can experience. So take a lot of risk. Is the final moment, and definitely try to, like we said again a couple of minutes ago, try to engage with people that is really great. The most you can. I would say go for it. Don't be scared. You only live one. You live in society, so you have to give it back at some point, and for that you can go and ask to other people. Say, can you help me? People normally don't do that because he's afraid of the answer, or they think that they are gonna be bothered or whatever. I wouldn't say that. I would say people are great and they are open to help each other, and I don't know, take that risk for first, to start. I would say definitely be disciplined, methodic, try to make teams and engage a lot with the society, because they have a lot to give us, and of course we are going to have to give it back in a few more years.
And just one last question before we wrap things up. A lot of people tuning in are in that position right now where they're going from the college environment into the workforce. And especially with new contextual factors such as hybrid work, where it might change your day-to-day sequence, and as you said, those rituals or habits might change. What is one piece of advice you were given, or you were either given or wish you were given, when first entering the workforce out of college?
I think that's difficult, because the hybrid way of work it's only make it more complicated. I think the stage, the life stage that we are talking about, it's really important to model yourself for the future. So personally, I don't like that because these new generations are getting more comfortable with the homework or whatever. So I will say my recommendation would say get out of there. Try to get out of that comfort zone. Try to expose yourself and practice the discipline and the method in order to because it's really important to do it now, because if you don't do it now, you're not going to do it ever. So and this part of your life is key to have success. I think it's key to have succeed in the future. So what can you learn? I don't know. Your experience will be much lower or bad if you stay at home. If you experience more things, you will be able to test more hypotheses in the MBA. So I think that's what the main goal is. Try to create a lot of experience, make hypotheses, and try it in this safe environment that is called MBA, where you have access to people that have great knowledge and great experience.
So it's not only setting yourself up well for now, but it's also independent of what your future might be, or even if you don't know what your future is going to be, setting yourself up good for then by just cultivating those experiences.
Exactly. Cultivating, I think that's a key word.
I think that kind of sums up the things we've been talking about today is experimenting, and you're not going to be sure about what you want to do until you do it. And I think your life story kind of stands for that, and all the experiences we talked about and more that I hope we get to talk about more in the future.
For sure.
So thanks again for coming on. This has been great, and I hope people listening get something out of it. I think they definitely will. So thanks again.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for everything and having me here.
Hope you enjoyed that episode. If you like our content, subscribe. The button is below. If you want to see another video, our latest one is right here, or another one right here. 2 options, 2 videos. Have a great day.